What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my random horror review series. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, episode 81 is here, and I've got a film here from 1986. Now, I didn't have any idea that I was going to be reviewing this film tonight. I just thought, since I haven't done one of these random reviews in a while, and I've been preparing for the 1986 show on the podcast, I was like, why not just do a review for this really, really obscure film that our friends over at Massacre Video actually rescued from total obscurity. I know this VHS is very, very hard to get your hands on, and this is the first time it's ever been released on DVD. So, of course, the film in question from 1986 is Evil in the Woods. Yes. This film right here was actually originally shot on 16mm, but it was sourced from a master tape for this release. So there's probably no original negatives left of the film or whatnot and stuff like that. So it is presented in widescreen, but it does kind of look like it's transferred from a VHS tape, which essentially is what it is. So, but the transfer is actually pretty good and stuff. So, but getting into the plot of this very, very strange film. Basically, what this one is about is it starts out with this little boy. He rents this book from the local library called Evil in the Woods. He takes it home and he starts to read the book, and where we are presented with the story that he is reading. And it kind of follows two parallel stories. First one being this production crew shooting a new film called Bigfoot vs. the Space Killers. And the other story that we're following is about this couple that has went to this woods, and they have lost their son. Now the town sheriff is looking for the son and stuff like that. And what nobody knows about these evil woods is that they have been driven by a 3,030-year-old evil force named Ida, a witch named Ida. And so basically these stories are kind of playing out in these woods. They don't know there's monsters and things like that. And then all hell breaks loose in the third act of this film. Now, my thoughts on this film. This is a very, very, very strange film. It's the structure of this one is like no other film of its time. Basically, if I had to kind of sum up this film in a nutshell, it's kind of like a horror comedy telling of the never-ending story. Hence the setup to the film, the little boy reading a book, and he comes, he starts to get right into it and stuff, and the story kind of unfolds like that. That's kind of what we get in this one. This is a very, very extremely strange film. What we get in this film is we get these parallel stories that, can be very, very confusing to people. But to make things even more strange, there's actually a narrator in this film that kind of breaks up the confusing elements of the film, the confusing, construction of the film, with some narrative. And basically how they would do it sometimes, it would just be a voiceover at times, or, when you're watching silent films and they have the transitions where, it has the writing on the screen and stuff. Well, it would come to that during, the transitions in the film. So that is a very, very strange way of telling the story. It might have been a total afterthought to the film, considering that the story was so muffled and stuff. I can see why people would get confused by this. It's actually quite easy to follow if you really pay attention. I think from what I've read and people's thoughts on this film and stuff is that it's kind of muddy because the stories are they're just kind of playing out side by side, and I think it's very confusing to people. But this film right here it's such an oddity. It's strange all over. The acting in the film is pretty much what you're going to get from a low-budget film. It's kind of all over the place. Some of the actors aren't that bad in this. Some are not really the greatest either. Super low budget and stuff. When you get to see the monsters in this film, it's kind of like watching Troll 2. In a sense, the costumes are they're very, very cheap and things like that. The gags, the gore and stuff like that is not really that well done and stuff. But this one has this very overwhelming ability to keep you intrigued in this film because it's so strange with the whole structure of the narrative and just the way the story is told. At times you'd forget that the boy's reading this book and it would kind of flash back to him, and then he'd be like doing shit like eating and doing random things, kind of like the kid from the Neverending Story. So that it's very, very strange. The other very compelling thing about this film is that it's a full-length 90-minute film. I think they probably could have edited this one down to about 70, 75 minutes and told the exact same story. It's never really boring, but there's not really a whole lot happening in the first hour of this film. Really, once the third act starts in the about the hour mark in this film, once Ida starts, wigging up her or potions, again, the monsters going and shit like that. That's when it starts to get a little bit more action and stuff. But it's a very compelling and oddball film that I just wanted to talk about briefly because this is a film I never really hear anybody talk about, and it's kind of a shame because it's one of those obscure films that I think that if you're into very, very low budget filmmaking and you can appreciate films like this, I think it's definitely something that you might want to check out. By no means is it a great film. But it's very fun. It's a very, very fun film. I'm going to give this one about a 6 out of 10. It's so much fun. The music is hilarious in the film. Just the whole premise of this film, it cracks me up. I'm a big fan of The Never-Ending Story, and I can't help but notice the contrast to that film, and maybe they borrowed some ideas and stuff, but this one at times never really knows what it wants to be. Like, if it wants to be like a full-on comedy, like there's a gay character in the film, and his name is Dick. It's just kind of subtleties like that had me cracking up while watching this film. So, I don't know, again, if you're into these low-budget type films, and if you're a fan of Massacre Video, you know what you're getting yourself into with a film like this. They release mostly shot-on-video films and other obscure low-budget gems like Evil in the Woods. So, definitely give this one a shot, man. It's super, super fun. It's definitely not making any top 10 lists of 1986, but I just wanted to talk about this one, let people know about Evil in the Woods. I'm sure there's people out there that have seen this one, of course. I just don't hear it mentioned a lot. And for its ability to be one of the strangest films ever, check it out. Yeah. So that is going to be episode 81 here on my Random Horror Review series. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll be back with some more. Actually got tons of reviews to do that I want to be doing. So stay tuned for more of these. And as usual, peace!